Hi, I'm going to demonstrate how to fill in a fluid balance chart. With any documentation, the first thing you need to fill in is the patient's details. So we'll use Sophie Springer. So the family name is Springer. Given name or first name is Sophie. The medical record number or unit number is 02000301, and her date of birth is the 17th of the 1st, 1954. The next thing with any documentation, you should always fill in the date and the time. You should put a day as in date, a month, and the year. Next thing we go to is the time, and we use a 24-hour clock. It's now 10:25, so we write 10:25. Fluid balance chart measures and assesses the patient's fluid status. So we're looking at the patient's input and output. In the input, we have intravenous input, which is intravenous fluid or IV therapy. So a normal maintenance bag is 8 hours. So we would document 0.9%. Sodium chloride, chemical name NaCl, 1,000 mils. And then arrow down. And we do this because the patient actually hasn't had any. I would also like students to write at 125 mils an hour, as it's an 8-hour bag, and this enables us that if the fluids go through quicker or slower, we can identify this. The next two columns are also for intravenous therapy if the patient has more than one line. And then the last column in the intravenous input is progressive total. However, at this stage, we've only just commenced it and the patient hasn't had any, so we don't document in this until the following hour. The next area is oral input. So for example, the patient's just had breakfast with a cup of tea, which was 250 mils. Right, 250. The next one is enteral feeding, which is nasogastric tubes or PEG feeds. So for example, let's say Mrs. Springer has a nasogastric feed going at 40 mils an hour. So we'll write 40 because she's had that hour completed. The last column in this section is progressive total. So what we need to do now is actually add the two together. So 250 plus 40 gives us a progressive total of 290 mils. The next section is output, where we're monitoring the patient's fluid output. We're looking at urine, vomit, any drains, and fecal matter. So the first thing is urine. All patients generally urinate first thing in the morning when they get up. So let's say this has happened and the patient has weighed 400 mils. An average urine output in the morning is between 350 and 500 mils. Next one is vomit or aspirate. The patient hasn't vomited this morning, and aspirate refers to what we're suctioning from a nasogastric tube, and we haven't done that because we're actually currently feeding her, so we will leave that empty. The next two columns are drains, and this can be drains that are in situ in the wounds. So let's say, for example, she's had a hip replacement and has a hemovac drain, and we've drained that and there was 50 mils. The same is this one if they have more than one drain, but she only has one. The next column is fecal matter, and the patient hasn't actually opened her bowels, but this could be loose stools or diarrhea. And then last but not least is a progressive total. So in this case, we'll need to fill in, she has urine of 400 mils and a drain of 50 mils, so 400 plus 50 is 450 mils. At the end of the 24-hour day, which is at midnight, we then need to fill in the progressive totals at the end of the page and assess the patient's fluid balance by input and output, and the output is taken away from the input, giving us a positive or negative status. This is how we fill in a fluid balance chart.